The chairman, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Bello Shehu, recently received the management of African University of Science and Technology, who paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. In his address on the reason for the courtesy visit to the commission, the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Onwualu, briefed the commission's chairman on the establishment, funding, programs and research networks of the university.
The university was established by a body called the Nelson Mandela Institution. So today, the university runs not only postgraduate programs, but also runs undergraduate programs, remedial programs, and in fact, even continuing professional development courses, short courses for people who are in practice. So we not only do research, but we also transform the research results into goods and services. So why we came is to alert you that we have this center, and of course the university in general, and to seek for your collaboration in a number of programs we've lined up. But what brought us here today is one of the centers we created recently, and that center is called ACMED, that is Africa Center for Minerals Exploration and Development. We are establishing this center to become a think tank, a place where research can be done so that we can support African countries in the area of using minerals to increase their revenue base. The university over the years has excelled in research. One of the good examples is what is called the Pan-African Materials Institute. So that's an overview of the university.
In an interactive session during the visit, questions and views were raised from the members and staff of the commission. Professor Onwualu gave answers and clarifications in response to the questions in view.
Why I asked to speak is that just this morning, someone called me from Jos and says he's living next door to some Chinese people and they're shipping lithium out of Plateau State in huge volumes. And immediately I came in here, I talked to the directors of the minerals because I have been on the team to the Nigerian Geological Survey, and the story we heard about lithium was that prospecting was going on. They want to identify where these things are and all that. And as people have studied the matter and doing research, why are some foreigners able to identify these minerals and our own people are still looking for where they are?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. And this issue, incidentally, this is an area I've been involved in for quite some time. I used to be Director General of Raw Materials Research and Development Council more than 10 years ago, and we were on this at the time, working with the Ministry of Solid Minerals. And so I agree with you. Sometimes we are still saying we are trying to find where they are. But the information on where these minerals are is already there. I know more than 10 years ago, we had a website of raw material platform where you can click on a map of Nigeria and you see what is available in every state. So anybody saying that they are still doing exploration is still living in the past. But the thing, to answer your question, the thing is that the Chinese, as we know them, are very aggressive. And they do all sorts of things, which is part of what we're even trying to address, the issue of policy implementation. There are policies on how to exploit minerals, but these people will come in, bypass all the necessary policies and take what they want. And the sad part of it is that they are not interested in value addition within the country. They just want to take and leave. I remember the late governor of Nasarawa State. I tried to address this matter with him at the time when he got information that people flying with helicopters in his state and live with minerals. But what I want to say from our own side, the issue of leaking has been known. This young man here is one of our expert in the area of batteries. And they have been doing a lot of work in the area of developing battery solutions of different forms. So research is going on, but the biggest problem, the major challenge we have in Nigeria is translating these research results into things that can be used by industries. There is no reason why we should not be able to have solutions for application of lithium for making batteries. And they've shown, at least at lab scale, that these things are possible. In our lab, we have a very good facility built for us by Africa Development Bank, where you can do this kind of studies. Unfortunately, when you come up with good research results, our partners abroad end up being the ones that commercialize them because of the environment where we operate. So it's still an issue that needs to be resolved by all of us, people that are in the sector. So you are right, it's not only lithium, like a number of other minerals they come in. It's only when there is a problem then we hear. The people who are in the sector, recently I received 3 groups from the US, Nigerians actually, who want to come and invest in this sector, that is lithium. And they contacted us because they also want partners from the research side. But for the past 6 months, they've been trying to go through the regulatory hurdles of getting licenses, getting this, getting that, which is also an issue that the investors are complaining. But the Chinese person knows how to, more than our people, how to maneuver and get what they want and leave, even without passing through the necessary regulatory agencies. So it's still an issue that government and all the stakeholders in the area, including state governments, should find a way to address. I don't know if my colleague has anything to add in the area of lithium.
No, I think you have covered it, Prof. From the angle.
Any other?
Well, when I was saying something about jobs, just as we have some of our people in jobs. I thought I was going to talk about that actually. So we have doing some research on we are problem has been revenue. We're not getting enough revenue from the solid minerals. So we have a project we're doing with the assistance of UNDP right now. And I'm in on the field trying to see how the artisanal miners can be brought together so that have a formal situation rather than the formal way they are operating and where the funds are not coming in. Also, they are not getting enough assistance, which is what we are trying to do, so that they get formalized and we can get revenue, which is our whole purpose here at the commission. So we started that now. I think Ravi, the director, can speak a lot more on that. So if you are in that area,
we are talking already.
Yes.
We are talking already.
They are well. I mean,
Yeah, that's why we are asking for this collaboration. In the example I gave with the Ferrite project, started like that. We were talking with not the organization, but geological survey, and then Total. Of course, research issue is always who we fund the research. So Total came in. So what you just said about ASM was part of what, well, we have had 3 PhD students work on this and graduated now, looking at these artisanal scale miners. You know, everything is almost informal. How do you restructure them?
Right.
And even issues of, in fact, one of them, incidentally, is a lady. And when she went to the field with everybody, he said she was no longer going to study the science, but to study the suffering of women. Yes, and it became, she's published over 2-3 papers now on what women are going through. The issue of inclusiveness, and there are people that go down to carry the mineral from where the men are digging. They suffer and carry, but all the revenue go to men, and that's another level of research and all the kinds of things that happen around the mines. But the important thing that we were trying to look at is what you mentioned. How do we bring these people into the formal sector? Get them clustered in cooperatives and so on, so that they can enjoy support from like UNDP or from the National Minerals Development Fund. So all these things require some research to come up with the policies and how those policies can actually be implemented. And that's the kind of thing that the center is working on. So, of course, for us to do this, we need to collaborate with organizations such as yours. For example, there is a proposal we are about to submit, and they require that the government agency that is supposed to be the beneficiary of the result of the research should be part of the team. So when we have such, if we have opportunity of submitting proposals and it's agreeable, your group can become part of the, apart from if you have support or any other thing we can do together as organizations. In fact, today, in the Barite project, one of the directors in geological survey is actually handling part of the research, while our people are handling part of the research. From time to time they meet. Because those of us in the universities, of course, there is an extent to where we can, how far we can go in terms of research. And when you are dealing with people who are there in the field, it's also easier to come up with tangible results. So that's good to know.
You're welcome. At this point in time in the commission, we really need a capacity building. So as a matter of fact, what you're bringing to the table is a welcome development. But there are other things that we must look at. One of such is the cost of this capacity building. That we are revenue monitoring agency does not mean that all the money domicile in this. Yeah, so it's a factor to consider. Then two is the fact that going forward, we can look at, with approval of our chairman, we can look at maybe getting our technocrats to form a committee to look at all these points that you've raised and see where we can work it out together as a team. So you're highly welcome. Yeah.
Nobody at the back? Which is?
No, five.
No.
Just good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just in addition to what the Federal Commissioner of the State has mentioned about the UNDP research, yes, we have a research we are conducting now in collaboration with the Ministry of Mines and Steel on issues of this ASM formalization, which is centered on team, because we noticed that the team export is ongoing, but actually the revenue that is coming from the team export is nothing to be tried from about. So we felt if, for instance, now we can have something similar with the AUST, especially on the issue of lithium, that would be good. If now, for a start, with the center, we can start looking on the revenue losses from the lithium export. Everybody knows actually lithium is being cut away about certain states of the federation, but going through the revenue that is coming to us, you can see anything tangible coming from the two, like Light and the Cruzite, you can see anything tangible coming. So we felt if we can now, for a start, collaborate with the Commissioner and the Center to see how we can do a research purposely focusing on the lithium export from Nigeria. That's just a little bit.
Mohammed Bello. The Commission's chairman responded to Professor Onwualu's address of visit to the Commission. In it, he briefed the visiting team on the mandate of the Commission, while pointing out the need for synergy between the two bodies in the area of revenue generation from solid minerals and agriculture.
Revenue allocation formula, which I'm sure we are aware, is our responsibility to, from time to time, look at it, looking at the prevailing reality in the country, and do the formula, give it to the president, and the president submit to National Assembly, and then it becomes a law. Who gets what? Federal government gets this percentage, states, local government, etc., etc. And out of that, we have the special funds, which you are aware. So we have the Natural Resources Development Fund, which is 1.68. It's money that is set aside for states to access so as to do something that will give them more revenue, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in solid minerals, mineral, whether it's in tourism. And then, of course, we have the 0.5% stabilization, which is when the state comes into trouble, their revenue goes down for any reason, like a natural disaster. We don't have a lot of hurricane here, but like Cross Rivers, they lost that revenue coming from that Cass Peninsula. There was a special grant given to them from the time of Obasanjo to now, which is about 500 million every month. So augment the revenue of that state Cross River, because the conception of the framers of the Constitution was, as time goes on, a lot of the states should be able to stand on their own, not relying on this distribution. We are still far away from there. One of the areas that really that you're talking about, and Director and others are talking about, is that revenue from solid mineral sector. States started enjoying this in 2016. Is it 2016? 2016. Over the years, nothing. But in the early 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was a huge sector. These things are exported and the money comes into the treasury and something like that. And somebody mentioned that there is probably hardly any mineral underground that does not exist in Nigeria. If you use powerful satellites, you can see these things. For those of you that are scientists, maybe you can even educate us more on that. So this is a good thing that you are here. And the other thing is that we do, of course, review and enumeration of political, judicial, and legislative salaries over the period of time which we are in the process of doing, and then any other activity assigned to us by the House of Parliament, and then, of course, how to help states to be able to get more revenue. That's the diversification aspect of it. This is the constitution of it. The Act of the Commission gives us the power to demand for information from any organization, MDA for instance. This is an area of revenue, like withholding tax, VAT, and whether they are remitting. But specifically, certain agencies I mentioned: Ministry of Finance, CBN, NUPRIC, which is DPR, Nigerian Customs Services, Federal Inland Revenue, and Central Bank of Nigeria. Of course, that is also talking about revenue that's supposed to come into the Federation, to make sure that if customs said they had 16 trillion or 5 trillion, have they remitted that 5 trillion to the appropriate place? And we're supposed to be checking from time to time. The commission is supposed to check and see. We do this reconciliation almost on a monthly basis, but it's difficult because looking at the environment of the commission, the disempowerment of the commission, and the empowerment of those other agencies, You know, it's like you send a goat to go and ask a lion that which you've done. Yeah, have you dropped where you're supposed to drop it? But we are trying.